Is storing a digital driver's license on your phone a good idea? Moving to an entirely digital wallet makes a lost or stolen phone an even bigger headache. One of the less publicized features of the upcoming Apple iOS 15 is the ability to add your driver's license into your Apple Wallet. Without a doubt, it will be very convenient to store your digital driver's license alongside your proof of insurance and credit cards on your phone. It would also certainly be great to seamlessly scan your boarding pass and your ID when going through a TSA checkpoint at an airport. So what else should you consider when deciding if you should use this new feature? Many privacy experts have expressed concern that the increased ease of identity verification could lead to more vendors requesting ID from their customers. This would create another data point that companies or governments could use to track you online. Another concern here is that big tech companies will further embed themselves into our daily lives. If at any point digital identification becomes a requirement, you would need to own a smartphone. Finally, by collecting all your important personal information and documentation on your smartphone, you would be risking losing all that information at once in the event of a breach. From a risk management perspective, this would be like putting all of your eggs in one basket. In order to better protect yourself, you would want to diversify where your personal data is stored, so a mixed digital and physical storage may be your best bet. There are data breaches from governments and corporations in the news. Identity Force reports that there have been 31 data breaches so far this year. It is possible that the proliferation of digital identification and businesses requesting proof of identity will introduce a lot more opportunities for cybercriminals to steal this type of sensitive personal information. Let's weigh the pros and cons of backing up your license. Some states in the U.S. already allow digital driver's licenses, but still require you to carry a physical copy. It's clear that we are not far from being able to replace a physical wallet with a smartphone. But just because you can do something doesn't mean that you necessarily should. On one hand, having both a digital and physical copy of your driver's license ensures that you have a backup if you lose one copy. On the other hand, having two copies of your driver's license could present additional opportunities for your ID to be stolen. If you moved to an entirely digital wallet and lost or had your phone stolen, that would be an even bigger headache. It's all about personal preference, and you should consider the trade-off between risk to your privacy and convenience when you are deciding whether or not to supplement or replace your physical ID with a digital version. Ultimately, we will all need to weigh our options and find the right solution that works best for us. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Tips Part 4, Privacy Settings Continued. I'm Hewie Poplock. Today we're going to talk about privacy settings and tools and continue on from where we were from Part 3. We have previously talked about the settings and the settings and privacy, which we clicked here, came up with the page that we're on. We went through the general settings, security and login, and your Facebook information. Then we started for Part 3. We talked about privacy. We talked about the privacy shortcuts, check a few important settings, manage your profile, learn more with Privacy Basics. Today we're going to continue with learning more about Privacy Basics, then go on to your activity and how people find and contact you, and how you get message requests. And we will complete the privacy section. Manage your privacy. Posts. How do I choose who can see photos and other things I post on Facebook? Let's open that in a new link so we can come back to this menu. Every time you post a status update, a photo, or a video, you can choose who can see it. You use the menu at the top of your post to choose the audience. Most people want to share things with their friends. You can also choose to share publicly or with a specific group of people. To let anyone see something you post, including strangers and people who aren't on Facebook, choose public. If you accidentally share a post with the wrong audience, you can always change it. Go to the post and open the menu in the upper right-hand corner. Choose which group of people you want to be able to see the post. If you frequently customize the audience for your posts, you might like using lists. Lists help you organize group of friends. You can choose from close friends, acquaintances, and restricted or create your own custom lists. To add friends to a new list, log into Facebook on a computer. Then go to the Friends section on the left side of your news feed and click More. To create a custom list, click Create List, then name your list and add friends. To add friends to an existing list, click See All Friends. Next to a friend's name, use the menu to select the list you want to add them to. Timeline. How can I manage what other people post on my timeline? You get to decide whether friends are allowed to post things on your timeline or not. To manage who can post on your timeline, go to More, type Settings, and select Timeline and Tagging. You can also decide whether you want to review posts that friends tag you in before they appear on your timeline. Keep in mind that a post you're tagged in might be seen in newsfeed or search results before you've reviewed it. Newsfeed. How can I change what shows up on my newsfeed? Everyone's newsfeed is different because it's based on your own activity on Facebook. Things like who you're friends with and which pages you like help determine what shows up. There are a few steps you can take on a computer to manage what shows up in your newsfeed. If you know you want to see posts from certain people, add them to your close friends list. You can even choose to get a notification every time they post. To add people to your close friends list, click on Friends List on the left side of your news feed. Select Close Friends. Click on Edit List and choose which friends to include. Another way to make sure you see content you care about is to like pages about people, organizations, and topics you find interesting. You can use search to find the page you're interested in. Then navigate to a specific page and click the Like button. Posts from pages you like may appear in your news feed. If you're not interested in posts from a certain friend or page, you can unfollow them and you won't see their posts in your news feed anymore. People and pages you unfollow won't be notified, and you can start following them again at any time. To unfollow, click Following in the lower right corner of their cover photo. What shows up in Facebook search results? You can search for anything on Facebook like people, pages, groups, videos, or topics like recipes. Search results are personalized and are based on many factors like connections on Facebook and the relevance of the content to the search query. Search results only include things visible to you. Let's take a look at what this means. Any post you've shared exclusively with your friends will only show up in your friends' search results. If you've made a public post, anyone may be able to see it when they search for something related to what's in your post. To manage who sees your posts, you can use the menu at the top of your status updates, photos, or videos. If you've hidden posts from your timeline, no one can see them on your timeline, but they may still show up in search results and other places on Facebook. To find and manage who can see these posts, tap on Activity Log in the menu below your cover photo on your profile. More privacy settings and tools. We've covered the privacy shortcuts. How about your activity? Who can see your future posts? You can mark on there whether you want it to be friends or friends accept or public. And there's more as well. You can specific friends or only me. We'll close that. So you can change that information, and that's generally what you're going to see in some of these. Review all of your posts and things you're tagged in. You can go to the activity log by clicking here, and it'll show you that information. Limit the audience for posts you've shared with friends or friends with. Limit the audience for posts you've shared with friends of friends or public, and you can limit that. Who can see the people, pages, and lists you follow. You can have it set for public again, friends, friends of friends, or just you. How people can find and contact you. Who can send you friend requests. You can have everyone, you can have, or you can limit it. Who can see your friends list? You can set it to be only me. No one else can see who's on your friends list. Who can look you up using the email address you provided? Again, you can list it or not. Who can look you up using the phone number you've provided? Of course, if you don't provide one, they aren't going to be able to use it anyway. Do you want search engines outside of Facebook to link to your profile? Should be set at no. Unless there's a specific reason you want. Unless there's a specific reason that you want to. How to get message requests. Decide whether message requests go to your chats list, your message request folder, or whether to receive them at all. Potential connections, friends of friends on Facebook, chats, you can edit that. And you can say message requests or don't receive requests. Other people, others on Facebook, again, you can set what they can do, and accounts on Instagram as well. Don't forget, Instagram is owned by Facebook. So that's it for this page of privacy and settings tools. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Good afternoon. It's Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. What is the best way to store your receipts? With your smartphone, it is so simple. Let me show you how to do this. Now, full disclosure, there are two types of people in the world. Those who use an accounting software called Quicken and those who don't. Gail and I used Quicken for over 30 years to manage our finances. It is a ritual in our house, like brushing our teeth. The transactions are entered, the receipts electronically filed, and I reconciled all the accounts at the end of the month. Most people don't do this, so my goal today is to show you how to use your smartphone to store your receipts. If you are a Quicken user, watch to the end, and I will give you a couple of tips. Now, why should seniors want to save their receipts? Well, probably three reasons. One, probably filing taxes. Oftentimes you will want to keep your medical receipts in case you get audited. Also for large purchases, such as a refrigerator, you may want to keep that for warranty purposes. Also costly modifications to your homes. So there are some times when you will want to keep your receipts. Now, what to do with your receipts? Well, I gave a class this last year, which was well attended, and I asked everybody, what do you do with your receipts? Very interesting question, and most people all answered the same way. they give them to their spouse. Well, what does the spouse do with them? The spouses weren't at the course, but I gather what spouses would probably do with their receipts is you may put them in a box, you may put them into a filing cabinet, or you might have an accordion sort of storage area that has some identifiers on it, or you're just overwhelmed and they're all over your desk. Historically, people who were very obsessive would often scan their receipts with a scanner that traditionally has been in printers. And this is a common way of getting a receipt into an electronic version. This is really, in the current technology we have, not the best way to do it. It's very slow, tedious, and there are much better ways. I doubt that we'll be seeing in the future scanners on printers for much longer. Well, let's see what we can do. And probably the easiest thing to do with a receipt is to simply take a picture of it. Take your smartphone and take a picture of your receipt. On the right side, you'll see a receipt from Coastal Eye Care. This was taken with my Pixel 3 camera, and you'll see the picture of the receipt is very clear. And this was taken in a dark room and just no specific preparation for it. And I just took a picture of that receipt. So taking a picture is a very simple thing to do for your receipts. The other thing you could do, most of you now use Google Photos. So why not just scan your receipt with Google Photos using the PhotoScan app? So this is an example of using the PhotoScan app with the anti-glare feature on. We'll show you how this works here. So if you watch the video, you'll see we're bringing up Google Photos, and you'll see at the bottom here is the PhotoScan software. We're now doing a photo scan with the anti-glare feature on. And this brings up the 4 little dots. And as you've done before, I'm sure using this software, it will scan the picture in for you and save it into Google Photos. And there we have it done. And this is with the anti-glare feature on. And this is what the picture would look like. So let's do another one. So now we're going to see, this is using the same PhotoScan software with the anti-glare feature off. Let's see how this works. It's much faster, but will we get the same results? Here's our Google Photo. Again, we'll bring the PhotoScan software up, which you'll see at the bottom here, and you will see that we are turning the anti-glare feature off. And let's do a picture. So now we have 3 pictures of the receipt. The center one was the one we just took with a plain photograph, which was extremely quick. We have a picture on the left. The blacks are a little bit darker because the anti-glare feature was on. But again, I think the quality of the receipt's about the same. And over on the right, you see we have the one with the anti-glare feature off. The purpose of this, showing you this, was to show that probably just taking a plain old photograph is the best thing to do. It's fastest and easiest, so we really don't need to use the PhotoScan software. Now, if you take pictures and you have Google Photos on your smartphone, you know that the pictures will go up into your photo library. So once they're all up into your photo library, you're probably going to want to make an album. Now, we call them albums in Google Photos, and there are no subfolders. You can't put a folder in Google Photos. So you're going to have to be sort of creative on your naming. And there are some different thoughts on this. I've given some examples here. You could, for example, make a folder up, an album up, and call it Receipts-House. And then you could make another album up and call it Receipts-Medical. So you'd have two albums there. The advantage of keeping the first name the same is that searching would bring up all your albums. As you get lots of these, you maybe in Google Photos have maybe several hundred albums, and you'll want to search them and quickly bring up the receipt folders, and that's a way of doing it. I also thought you could do you could do docs.receipt, and all your files, your document files could be from, you could call it docs.receipts, docs.medical, an example of that. You could certainly do it that way. Or you could simply just put a R for a receipt and called R-house and R-medical, and that would bring up all your albums. So you have to give a bit of thought about that, because you can't put subfolders within the albums. So think a bit about that before you start making your albums to store your receipts in. Now, the next way that you can do this is by using the Google Drive. And I would encourage you, this is a much better way of doing it, and I would encourage you to get the Google Drive app on your smartphone. Now, when you go to Google Drive, you go to the Play Store, you'll be able to find Google Drive. It is an app, and you can download this and install it on your smartphone. It's available in Android and iOS. So this is how you would do that. Now on my Google Drive, I've set up a folder called Receipts. So on my Google Drive, I have a folder called Receipts, and then within the Receipts folder, I have a subfolder called Medical. So we'll store our medical receipts in the folder, which will be in the folder called Receipts. And here it is on my Google Drive. You'll see at the top, it says, you'll see this is my Google Drive, and then you'll see my folder called Receipts. And then this is the subfolder within Receipts where we're going to put the $221 receipt. So this is the Google Drive app scanning the picture, the receipt, into the medical folder. Let's see how you do that. So this is bringing up the Google Drive app. We come down and we're going to scan a new picture or receipt. And so here we are clicking the button. It's scanned it. And that is what it looks like after it was, the picture was taken. And it's now going to give us an option to name it. And also we get to choose what folder we want to put it in. But of course, we're going to choose the medical folder. So now we're going to select the medical folder that you can see that is here, and we'll be selecting that. And it's going to save this now. It is even a faster way is to use a Google Drive widget. Does everyone know what a widget is? A widget is like a macro for your apps. And let me explain how this works.
Here's what I found.
So this is making a widget to scan directly into the Google Drive medical folder. Let's see how you would do that. So we're going to take in any area on your phone, and we're going to long press it, and you'll come up with an Making Widget app. You'll then come down to Google Drive. You'll see the Google Drive there. We'll click on that, and it's going to make a little icon here. Well, it's going to first ask to select the folder that we want, and we're going to select the medical folder in Receipts. And then the widget is made for us. And now you'll see that we have a widget that we're going to put into our little folder called Google Drive. So we have our Google Drive app here, but we have the widget. Now, when I take a picture of the receipt with this widget, it is going to go directly into the medical folder. It's not going to be, it's not going to ask you any questions about where to put it. So this makes it much, much quicker. So let's see how that would go. So let's see how this will go, and we are going to scan something with the widget right into the folder. This is bringing the widget up. We simply take a picture of the receipt and save it. And now it is being uploaded directly to the medical folder in our Google Drive. So it's just a faster way of getting your getting your receipt into the medical folder. And again, this is my drive, this is receipts, and this is where we're putting it into the medical folder. All right, so you may use Microsoft products, so you might want to store your receipts in OneDrive. Well, OneDrive has an app for your phone as well. You'll go to the Play Store or the iOS, and again, you will see the Microsoft app, which is available for your smartphone. You download it, install it. Again, I've set up in my file directory in OneDrive, I've set up OneDrive, I've made a folder called Receipts, and I've put a subfolder called Medical. Now, let's use the OneDrive app to record and save. So you'll see here in my folder, I have the OneDrive app. We'll start the display now, and this is going to bring it up the app, and we're going to choose the folder called Medical, and then we're going to click on the little icon, the camera there, and it's going to take a picture of our receipt, the $221, and it's going to place it into the medical folder. Now let's use the OneDrive widget. Again, you can make a widget for OneDrive. Let's see how that would work. Again, we're going to long press in the blank area on your phone, and you'll see the widget menu come up. You're going to come down to OneDrive, and we're going to choose the widget icon. And now we're going to come up, and it's going to ask us to pin a file to the widget, and we're going to choose the medical directory as well. And so now we have a widget that's going to scan directly into the medical folder, into our folder called Medical. So on my phone now, I have two widgets, one for general receipts and one for medical receipts. And when I use these two widgets, they scan it directly into those folders. If I use the OneDrive app, then it would, I'd have to choose the folder that I wanted it to go into. So let's see what happens when we use the OneDrive widget. It works about the same as the Google widget. We'll bring this up. We'll choose the medical widget. You'll see the folder is empty. And now you'll see us scanning this receipt. It says it's done, and it will upload it into the medical file, so you don't, medical folder, so you don't have to choose. Lastly, I wanted to just give you a couple of tips for Quicken users. I've used Quicken for about 30 years, and traditionally, I used to scan my receipts into the Quicken transactions. About 4 or 5 years ago, Quicken developed an app that you can use on your smartphone. This is not the full version of Quicken and has some unique purposes. It links back into the Quicken software, which runs on your Windows PC. This is called Sync to Mobile, and it is the Quicken app that you can download and install on your smartphone. It works very well, and what happens is when you're in a restaurant, or whether you're in a location where you want to save a receipt, you simply bring up the mobile app on your phone. It actually knows where you are by geolocating and puts the restaurant actually in the payee section. You just fill in the amount, and then you can add a receipt by clicking to take the picture of the receipt. It then uploads the file into the Quicken cloud. When you're now on your Windows 10 PC, you can click Sync to Mobile, and the Sync to Mobile will download the transaction and the attached image and put it right into your Quicken accounting software. This works very well and is a cool feature that unfortunately I just discovered this last year. So I wanted to give everybody that tip. So in summary, what's the one thing you need to do with receipts? That's store them electronically. It's so easy to do now, rather than keeping them as paper files. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. Enjoy your day.